Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to the Dark Passageway podcast by us, Gamer for Life UK. We're so amazing, fluffy and whatnot. This is episode 2. It's been a bit delayed, but there you go. I'm your host, DJ Davey P. Davey. Also joined with me is the co-host, Tempy Crow. Say hi, Tempy.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Welcome back. And today we have got a guest. Now, I didn't get Jessica Negri. I couldn't find anyone from IGN. I've been trying my hardest to headhunt people, and really the only person we could get our hands on for this podcast is Dean. Dean from the group. So say hi, Dean.
Hi.
Hi. So yes.
What an excellent build-up.
It was brilliant. You know what I mean? I built it all up, and it was just like, yeah, it's just Dean from Gamer for Life. So say hi to the world, Dean.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. If you don't know who Dean is, he's been in he's been in live streams, he's been in videos, he's one of the biggest guys in the community, set up the whole website thing. Check us out on the website. We've just literally really got it running properly now anyway, and so much more. So if you want to go a bit more in depth with what you do, and just explain this a bit more to the people who really don't know who Dean is.
Well, basically, I used to work with you.
Yes.
We got chatting, and we both discovered we loved games. You set up the Gamer for Life group, and I came on board, and we've pushed it forward. We've now got the website and the fantastic new shop with a clothing range.
Oh yes, the clothing range, most definitely. So yes, before we go on, I just want to plug this. Yes, we have got a merchandise range going on at the moment. A couple of tweaks is happening regularly because it's literally just set up. A couple of the images need removing and so on, and we're going to start doing the range from t-shirts to, as Tempy wants a coffee mug done because she wants one because she's addicted to coffee, so we'll make one specially for her as well.
Coffee gods need to be appeased, therefore coffee mugs from Gamer for Life need to be made.
We will be making coffee mugs and so much more, and as Dean was saying, we've got everything. You know, from the beginning, me and Dean got our heads together and we've gone from there, got the website. So, a couple more quick questions before we get really steamrolling into the podcast. What do you like playing on? How did you get into gaming? Just your gaming history in a couple of minutes. Just drop it.
My gaming history in a couple of minutes. Well, being of a slightly older generation, I'm not giving away my true age. Because a gentleman never does, but I've basically been playing video games since a very, very dawn of time, since the early 80s. I can remember spending hours as a child programming a simple game on a Sinclair ZX80 that took me 5 days to write the program out of a magazine, and I think it literally put a couple of blocks on the screen that you could move about, and that were it. But the fact that you'd done it was the most amazing thing in the world. In the very early 80s. Obviously I had quite a bit of experience on the old Atari 2600, a Woody by the way as well. Wish still had it because it's worth a lot of money nowadays. Yeah, so I've basically been gaming and following consoles throughout all the generations. So the first generation with the original PlayStation, in fact before that the Master System, the original NES, Super Nintendo. Then obviously the original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, all the current generation. So yeah, I've been pretty much gaming most of my life. Started PC gaming when PCs sort of were really capable of playing games, in fairness, from your original basic games, things like Asteroids and that you used to play, right up to modern day stuff on Steam.
So you've covered a lot of the bases then, basically. So yeah,
I've been around.
He's been around. Temp, have you got any questions for Dean to drop in?
No, not yet.
No, it's just, well, we've got the whole podcast to poke Dean with a stick. And by the way, if people really want to know his age, look at the annotations in the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, I might put it in there. Oh, sorry, I said that out loud. Yeah. So, yes, so we've basically talked a lot about, well, the background of Dean and a lot. What he does for the community and everything, and like in future podcasts we'll probably get in other members of the group, other pages in. We've hopefully got in line a couple of shoutcasters as well to come in future podcasts as well, so we'll be expanding our guests from just not being just Dean to being someone a bit more you know.
Be very careful what you say.
Hey, it's our podcast, not yours.
I can be offended easily.
We can say what we like. So before we really get into the news, let's talk about news between the three of us. Let's put it onto Tempe because she's been quiet in the corner, just skulking around like a little cat. What have you been playing on? What have you been playing? Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. What have you been playing on recently, Tempe?
I've been playing a bit of League of Legends. I'm actually returning to it after a week of taking up. Actually, last week I took a break from casting. Orders from my bossai. So, and that was intentional. And just played a bit of League of Legends. I got into Gold 5. I'm almost in promotion for Gold 4.
Yay.
So that's been happening, and I've been playing a lot of Terraria. Whenever I get the chance, I kind of log in for an hour, play a bit. I'm actually at the moment down in hell. I defeated Cthulhu. I have Cthulhu twice. I cleared killed the dragon, killed the dungeon skeleton, and I killed the Destroyer of Worlds, or whatever it's called, the sacrifice 3 shadow orbs to summon it. So yeah, just gearing up for the Wall of Flesh and the hard mode. So yeah, doing that. I'm having a very intense schedule with my day job, which is kind of killing my gaming time. But that will hopefully change soon, either hopefully, and this is like a huge maybe, by the end of October or the first week of November when I'll get my new PC, so I'll be able to stream, which will allow me to actually play more video games because I will not be rendering stuff anymore, which is actually limiting my already limited game time.
So we could be seeing a lot of Tempe Crow live streams, both for the League of Legends shoutcasting and maybe some secret Terraria and Guild Wars, because you're a fan of Guild Wars, aren't you?
Yes, I'm on Guild Wars. Currently the plan is like this: when I'll be able to stream, when I get my new PC and have everything set up, because I'm doing a 0 format on both of my hard disks. That's happening. So I'll be offline for the full duration of 24 hours after I purchase everything, after I set everything up, and then the grueling task of installing everything. I will be, however, doing Alice Madness Returns, because I've heard great things about the first one. My friend actually played Alice Madness. So I'll be doing the sequel. It's gonna be a let's play, not a walkthrough, because I do not have time to make a full walkthrough, but it will be a let's play with me. Yes, I will be streaming lots of League of Legends games with my friends, because we do the shenanigans. We do some pretty bonkers things, and it's a shame that nobody sees them because we're not either LOL replaying it, or we're not doing anything of sorts to record it. So making it a live stream will be brilliant. I'll be probably getting back into Guild Wars 2 as well because of it, and of course Terraria. Depending on what other game I feel like getting, I'll probably stream that as well.
So plenty to go around then. Basically, you've got a wide range of stuff to get yourself into, and you've been doing quite a lot by the sounds of it as well. So, oh yeah, we've got a guest, haven't we? So I've just got to not keep him out of this. Dean, what have you been playing recently then?
Well, I've been sort of doing lots of things. I've been still on my Xbox, on GTA 5, obviously.
Yes.
Just about finished the campaign on that. I think I'm about 80% overall, so not far off on that. And obviously I've been hitting up GTA Online as well. I've just got myself this week F1 2013, so I'm about to start that at some point. I have a few races on that. Also, I've been hitting up a lot of League of Legends again on PC, as we normally do.
Yep.
Perfecting our skills and getting ready for when we're good enough to get a team together to hit ranked.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I've been playing a lot of the Wing Commander saga, which I've been doing the Let's Play videos for the Game for Life channel. And I've also been playing on a couple of games on Steam. I've just downloaded and started playing War Thunder, which is the World War II MMO Plane Battle 1. And I've also downloaded Haunted Memories, which I'm intending to give a go, and play something a bit spooky and run that as a let's play in time for Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween. So yes, so we've all been playing a lot of stuff recently, and I've been doing.
What have you been up to, Davey?
She just jumps in. Yes, thank you, Tempe. Tough. I've been playing stuff. No, Tempe, I have been playing a lot of League of Legends, and literally just before recording this, I went on a bad losing streak of probably about 5 games and we've lost. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of League of Legends. I've been playing GTA Online with Dean and a couple of us on the Xbox. Watch out for videos of that coming onto the Game for Life channel as well. Yes, while we're talking about scary games, what that's been brought up as well, we are doing scary games onto the channel. We did ask the community said scary games, definitely, Amnesia, Slender, whatever. So hence why Dean's doing Haunted Memories. I've got a couple of cool funny treats coming up for you very soon, and like I said, for the run up of Halloween, and we'll continue it on after that. God, what have I been playing? I can't actually think off the top of my head. A lot of FIFA, actually, FIFA 14. The new series of Ultimate Team online leagues is up and running. God, what have I been playing? All the games that are on the Game for Life channel, I've been playing a lot recently to get the videos done as well. So I've been playing a lot.
Have you two got your hands on GTA 5?
Yes, we both got it on the Xbox. Yes.
Impressions, come on.
Okay, yeah, alright then. GTA 5 impressions, Dean, kick it off.
The game itself, the sort of single player aspect of it is absolutely awesome. It's GTA 4 was an epic game in itself originally. The addition in GTA 5 of playing as 3 different characters with such different personalities is amazing. You've got to see and play as Trevor to understand what the hype is about it, but it's just something else that's not been experienced in the game. It's very violent, it's very out there, but it's amazing fun. Honestly, it's one of the best games of this generation of consoles.
Cool, Davey?
Online though.
Oh, good in. Gone.
Yeah, I'm not as impressed with online currently. I mean, there was the original issues of actually trying to get on.
Oh God.
And the conversation that we've been having recently as well on the Facebook page about being banned and classed as a bad sport for basically killing people online. You're using it. It's an open environment. You can do what you want. The ability to PvP is there, but you get penalised for PvP and outside of death matches, which is a little bit naughty, and it's caused quite a bit of debate amongst community. So maybe not Rockstar's greatest move. But
yeah, I do agree with that one, because it was Matt that brought it up, didn't he, in the community?
Yes.
Being told that you're a bad sport for being in a game where you rob cars, kill people, take money is a bad thing. There is a passive mode in the game. You can enable it so people don't shoot you. Use it, or create your own lobby where you can have your friends on. Don't whinge and moan if you're in the GTA world and getting shot up. We've been on it, me, Dean, Richard, loads of friends from Game for Life. If we got shot up, we went down and chased them back down. If we were in a group, we did it all. What was it, the guy called Jasper that Richard had a bit of an altercation with?
Yeah, and about 6 kills afterwards.
Yeah, 6 kills afterwards. He did back off. We're just chasing that. It's the whole fun about it. I weren't kicking off about it. I wouldn't be bothered if I were killing the same person or the same person killed me. It'd piss me off a little bit, but it's the whole fun of GTA. You know what I mean? So,
well, to be honest, it's your own fault for not putting the passive up.
Exactly, and it clearly states in the game, in like an annotation in the corner, every so often it pops up saying passive mode. You can turn it on so people can't shoot you. Unless you start firing back, they can shoot you. But while passive mode's on, you take no damage and all that lot. It's just no go. But going on to the single play story, like I said, the online didn't cover it all. It was just an absolute ball ache, 'cause it took me like 3 days to get on it. You know what I mean? It took me 3 days to actually get through and actually play online. But the story mode, like Dean said, the ability to simultaneously jump between 3 characters, and I'm not talking similar characters, they're just totally... Trevor, like we were just saying, is out of this world. He's insane. He's just an absolute psychopath. You flip back to him just to see what he's up to, because we're not going to spoil it for anybody, but he gets up to some mad stuff, some seriously mad stuff. But like Dean says, one of the best games of this generation, a great way of sending this generation, off, tying it up and all for the new ones coming into line, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4 and so on. But GTA, it were worth the wait since GTA 4, definitely worth the wait, and I'm enjoying it more, to be honest with, than GTA 4. So
to round it up, pros and cons, guys. Dean first.
Like I say, probably the best game you play on this generation. The scope of it, what you can do, the size of the world, is just unbelievable. The silly little details that are involved makes it absolutely fantastic. The only cons is the online is very buggy at the moment. I think a couple of patches and they'll probably get it just about perfect, but currently it's just not quite there.
Brilliant.
Pros and cons. Pros, probably one of the best storylines, one of the best single player campaigns going. The online, the ideas of the online, of what you can get up to, amazing. Holding up stores with your friends and getting away from the cops and just having fun. Cons, the only con, like we were saying, is the online. If it weren't so buggy, if Rockstar got it down to it, they held back the online for so long after the game was released. It was about a month or 2 weeks or something like that to get online running, and they still had issues. I'd have thought they'd have been prepped enough to actually have it spot on for when we launched it, but hey, what can you do? So yeah. So pros and cons, GTA 5. That's it from us. That's from us. That Gamer for Life review special roundup of GTA 5 there. And like I said, check out GTA 5.
Because that's the hottest title at the moment.
Yes, definitely the hottest title at the moment. Beating FIFA and all that lot. God, I've been enjoying GTA more than playing Call of Duty, and I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty as well. So GTA, amazing, definitely amazing.
Brilliant.
So, have you got any other questions to ask, Tempe? Anything, topics up here?
No, at the moment, no. This just popped in my mind because I've been reading a lot about the GTA 5, and everywhere I turn on the interwebs, it's there. So it is like something that I wanted to ask you guys, because I know you probably played it, since I haven't played a GTA in ages.
Well, yeah, and since the last podcast, it was basically the biggest game that's come out since the last podcast, so great way to start the new section. So, since the last podcast, like I said, there's been some great games released, absolutely smashing games released, GTA 5 being the pinnacle. But one of the main things that we're going to be talking about in this first section, and also incorporating with Tempe on our opinions on the games, is the Eurogamer Expo, Earls Court, London. Me, Dean, Richard, Rawplay UK, loads of friends and all sorts. We were there for the entire 4 days. We had a right good time, and we're going to break it down into sections for you, some of the big highlights and lows, so we can give you a 50-50 view on it. And I'm going to let Dean kick this off. Dean, your overall view of EGX 2013.
Oh, that's a hard one to start with. This year, I mean, we went to the previous year's one. This year, the major difference, other than the fact that the new generation of consoles were there, was the amount of things there. It had almost doubled in size to what it was the previous year, with the amount of games, stands, stalls, everything there, which was fantastic. The only problem being is that the amount of people going to the actual expo doubled as well. So whereas in previous years we'd pretty much played everything that the show had to offer within a couple of days, so the third and fourth day we could go back, play them again, chill out, do other things. We pretty much struggled within 4 days to see and do everything that was there. There was just that much. And the problem with that is a lot of the queuing times were a little bit too long for liking. I know we queued to play Dead Rising 3 on the Xbox One, which was nearly a 3-hour wait to play it. Which is a little bit ridiculous, but considering there was over like 120,000 people there, it's understandable to a degree.
Yeah, that was a moment I'd remember, because I actually didn't queue with Dean and Richard, and we were with Nick at the time as well. And it was like, to me, this year's Eurogamer Expo was a lot more like being at a fairground, a popular theme park like Alton Towers and stuff like that.
Exactly,
You queued up for ages to just be on a game for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on what it was. Don't get me wrong, there were some games where you could, you know, as you walk by, oh, there's a spare seat, no queue, jump in. But the major games, Titanfall, Dean, how long did we wait for Titanfall? Nearly 2 hours?
Titanfall was a good 2 hour wait.
Yeah, that was a 2 hour wait, and like Dean was saying, it grew massively, and like I said, the queues were massive as well, because like I said, the attendance grew, because it was on 2 floors. The entire 18 plus area were on a separate floor from the rest of the expo as well. So that was one of the big things for me, how big it was. And it were, like I said, last year we enjoyed it. We were there for we only went for 3 days, because the 4th day we potted around London and we came on. But the 3 days there, like you said, we got on games that we wanted to play on twice, sometimes even 3 times. Halo, we queued up for Halo 4.
Yeah.
10 times near enough over them days.
I tell you another thing I noticed from this year as well, which I took away from it.
Go on.
The previous year when we went, there was a lot of massive blockbuster titles there. So it was all about those blockbuster titles in the show.
Yeah.
So, for instance, there was like Halo 4, there was Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah.
Things like that. So that you went in and you was expecting that to be hit with AAA titles. This year it was a lot more understated. Though before we got there, we had no preconceptions as to the games, because there wasn't quite the AAA rated titles that you thought there'd be with the hype, until we actually got there and played them.
Definitely.
So games like Titanfall and things like that haven't been as hyped as, you know, such as Halo and everything. But when we got there and actually played them, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
What awesome games these are.
Yeah, definitely.
No, to be honest, I would rather go to a convention, a smaller convention, like, actually I don't know how big Eurogamer is, but I would rather go there and see some of the off titles, like, still huge, still amazing titles, but not as hyped or as blockbusters as some of the others that were represented in E3 and PAX.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was one of the things on the Sunday at Eurogamer. We actually spent most of the day in the indie section. So we've got a complete indie section where we was talking to the actual devs themselves that had developed the games. They'd got a couple of computers set up with a game that they'd got running, and they'd basically created demos specifically for Eurogamer. The game hasn't been greenlit, they're still trying to get Kickstarter funding, but they'd built a demo to fetch to Eurogamer. And we spent a lot of time with these sort of guys, talking to them and getting to know them. And some of those games that we played there were the best ones of the show.
Yeah, definitely, I would agree with that as well, because don't get me wrong, I enjoy playing the AAA titles, because luckily I got early access for all 4 days, so I was able to sneak on a couple of these big ones that I knew queues were going to be there for. But the ones I enjoyed a lot more was the ones that you went up and you thought, oh, what's this? I'll give it a try. Oh my god, this is awesome. You know what I mean? And to bring this up just out of blue now, Dean, that card game, that was probably the best experience for you guys.
That was the most fun that we had in a silly little card game out of a tin. We just thought we'd chill out. We'd been walking around for a bit. We were a little bit bored. We thought, what should we do? And they had a stall there with some board games. And there was a girl there with this card game. She says, come on lads, come and have a go at this. And we played that, and it was the funniest thing we have ever done in our entire lives. It was brilliant. We were there for hours playing this silly little card game. It was genius.
Well, that's cool. That's always good and refreshing to see some gamers actually get away from PC and get back to board gaming, because we all started at board gaming at one point or the other before jumping in on the virtual viral games. Also, on the subject of indie games, now that you mentioned it, and the whole section of indie games, what do you think about the indie game developers and the games that are coming out that are either self-published or made from an indie company? Do you think it's a very awesome way of getting fresher games and getting fresh ideas into an already overcramped gaming community, or is just, what are your thoughts on indie gaming?
No, I honestly have got a lot of time for these indie games and developers. The biggest thing I noticed with sort of spending time with the indie developers and everything is that they make games that they want to make, that they care about, not what a big publishing house is telling them to make. If they've got a particular art style that they want to use in the game, they go with it. A particular concept, they go with it. They're not pandering to big publishing houses that say, no, you must do this, you must do that. So the games are as they envisage them when they design them, which makes really interesting experiences. There was a game that Nick played. I never actually played it, but I watched him. And basically, it's a bit of a sad story, this. But the developer was going through a really bad time in his life. He'd had a marriage breakup, lost family through illness and things like that. And what he used to do is he used to go down to this big lake near where he lived. And he literally used to sit at this lake all day, tossing stones, you know, skipping stones across this lake, just to take his mind off the real world and everything. And he was a massive gamer. What he decided to do, that he took that much away from that peaceful experience, he decided to put it into a game. So this indie game is basically, you sit there and you throw stones across this river, and it creates like musical notes as the stones go across, and it basically plays this really sweet, soothing music, brilliantly done artistically. But the concept of the game seems so weird to hear, but if you actually sat there and watched it and played it, it's so relaxing and tranquil, and it really does what it designed it to do.
Wow, I would actually play it after a very stressful day at work.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. So, you know, speaking to him was like, yeah, well, I wanted to give something back to the gaming community, what I'd experienced. I've got this tranquil place. Not everyone's got it. Some people live in high-rise blocks in the middle of big cities. They can't do this. So I wanted to make this game that's escapism from the real world, and it's just peaceful and tranquil, and you know. But it's such a weird concept, but it worked. And the fact that they're doing things like that, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I do agree with that, because one thing I have noticed, like Dean's mentioned before, and how you were saying, you know, how indie developers couldn't come into this really overcrowded world of gaming anyway. But I've seen it. Well, in my personal opinion, I feel that, especially with how the lineup of indie and the sheer, well, Dean will agree with me. When we went last year to this year, the amount that was in the indie side just literally took up a third of the bottom floor. Anyway, it grew out so much with like your titles like Prison Architect, games I've seen greenlit, and like the non-greenlit ones and all. Like, it was just amazing how the indie. Top of my head, Slender. I think since Slender's been about, indie titles have boomed even more because of YouTubers playing them, and you know what I mean, people getting a lot more exposure, and a lot more these little companies, 2 or 3 people or 10 people come together and make something, like Dean was saying, that they want to play, that they would play on. Not just something that you're making this bit, you're making this game. No, I want to make this platformer that is really ragey for people. I want to make this really cool snowboarding game for the iPad because that's what I want to do, you know what I mean? And it's a great way, in my opinion, to express how they want to feel. Plus, if people see them making these games and go, my God, that's a great idea, some big companies might snap them up and actually say, look, you give us an idea for a game, we'll give you so many hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of money to make it a bigger game than what you first thought, you know what I mean? So I think the whole indie side of things is amazing, and I just want it to grow massively. I want to see it even grow even bigger than it is.
Yeah, I think that's one of the sort of biggest problems as well with sort of gaming developers at the moment. That the sort of big publishing titles and that stick with tried and trusted formulas. They're afraid to try something new.
Yeah.
Which is what these indie developers are doing. They're coming up with ideas that you'd never expect. And yes, some of them are completely out there. Some of them end up turning into being so much fun to play. And you think to yourself, you know, why has no one else ever come up with anything like this? But a lot of the big publishers, obviously, there's a lot of money riding on it, so they don't take those risks.
True.
Well, Blizzard is taking a huge risk with their new MMO,
yeah.
the Titan. So that's that, because we still don't know what's it gonna be about. We can speculate till doomsday and we will still not be even close to it. Also, guys, a question coming up that the two of you are gonna hate, and I have to ask because, well, yeah. So, while at Eurogamer, have you gotten your hands on Destiny? Was Destiny there?
Dean can answer this.
No, the game itself wasn't there. There was a 15-minute trailer that was running. That had a big statue of one of the characters that you could have your photograph taken with. There was handing out loads of promotional stuff. But the game wasn't there in a playable state.
No.
But
It was
saying
fine.
that,
Heart
as
shattered.
disappointing as it was, standing there for 15 minutes and just watching the trailer, oh my god.
It looked amazing, didn't it? It really
Yes,
did. amazing.
yes,
oh my
and
God,
it's a
that game
PS4
is-
exclusive.
It's just off the wall.
Is it a PS4 exclusive
No,
or
I
will it be on both?
As far as I know, it's available on Xbox One, PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're making it available on all platforms plus PC. Brilliant! In any case, yeah, I am getting a better PC, so that I will be probably playing it on PC, but also I'm getting a PlayStation 4, which means, putting
Boo.
people with it.
Boo.
I
Boo.
may get Xbox One, but we'll see.
Boo. Boo. But yeah, we, to be honest with you, me and Dean were like, oh, we'd love to see something Destiny wise, and then when we got in there, it was like there was this really high banner above where. Well, you remember what I mean, Dean? Where the statue in front of it, right behind it, there was a big
Yeah.
thing with the logo, and you thought, oh my god, Destiny's here. Go over to it, and yeah, all right, it was a statue and the trailer, and like I said, Dean was saying, a 15-minute long trailer, but there were crowds round this one big plasma screen, just looking at how amazingly beautiful this game is, and then the queues to take a picture with this really cool posed statue of this alien-looking thing. Plus free.
Well, I have to give it to Bungie. They do know how to make their RPG FPSs, considering that they made Halo. And yes, Destiny does look similar to Halo, but it's a Halo meets Borderlands child, and I love the way it looks.
Yeah, it definitely does have a feel of Halo. When I watch the trailer, Dean, you'll have to agree with me on this because you're a big Halo player.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the major point with Bungie is to put a lot of time and effort into creating the universe and the world that the games are surrounded in.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the game, they create an entire sub-story for the universe and the characters, the worlds, everything has got a place and is there for a reason, and they put that much detail into it, and I think that's what sets Bungie's games apart.
Yeah.
And I respect Bungie, even though they are exclusively from Microsoft because of the Halo. I'm finally happy to see them branching out a bit more and coming back to PlayStation. So yeah, really excited for that game.
I'm actually glad that they are doing it cross-platform because to experience a Bungie game is amazing. Like me and Dean have played Halo, and it's like, oh my god! And I was late to the party because Dean's been playing Halo with Richard and other people for ages. I was late to the party, and I'm like sitting there playing this amazing game like Halo 3 ODST and. The original one when they did the anniversary. I'm like, anniversary were 343. You know what I mean? Though the Bungie games of Halo, I was like, oh my god, well, why have I not played these before properly?
The thing is, as well, is Bungie originally were an indie developer. They originally made games for the Mac. So it started off with like Marathon and games like that. They're what actually. They did, and then obviously they created Halo, but they then tied themselves into Microsoft as a launch title for the original Xbox with Halo. And it just so happened that it exploded at the same time.
Which is good. It gives other indie developers a bit of hope that one day they could do an amazing game that will land them an exclusive contract with a certain console.
Yeah.
Or the one amazing IP that'll just explode from like Halo as soon as they made Halo. It just took off, and I'm thinking Destiny will even take it off into a different direction, but even higher. You know what I mean? Bringing in them aspects, and we got clattering in the background.
Okay, another question about the PlayStation. Was there a Final Fantasy 15?
Now, I'm trying to think. Which one's the one that's the Realm Reborn one?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
Is that 14 or is it just a different?
That's what they announced. I think it should. It has a it has a different title to it, but it was the one that was previewed in E3. The dark looking from. It had the feel of Final Fantasy 9.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The only thing Final Fantasy wise I saw was the MMO one, the big.
Yeah, it would make sense for them to actually focus on the MMO since they're reworking the whole 14 around it. Like they had it launched or semi-launched, and then they just scraped it, put it back into paid beta, while they were reworking everything. And now I think it's getting nearly done. I think I have it, or I have the 12. Either way, I do have one game. Give me a second. I have Final Fantasy 14, but since it's still in development, I haven't used it yet. Haven't installed it or did anything, but hopefully soon, like in February, should be getting 2 terabytes of hard disk. So many games to be had.
Many games indeed. I think it was Final Fantasy. There was a Final Fantasy there.
I think it was the HD remake of 13 that was there.
Nice.
It was played on PS3.
Yeah, it was definitely on the PlayStation.
Not on PS4, so yeah, I think it was the HD remake. We never actually played it. Charlie played it, but...
Yeah, Charlie from Roleplay. Roleplay UK, we're going to give you a big shout out now while we're here. Hi guys, we had great times with you, and I beat Charlie 1-0, FIFA 14. I'm saying this officially on YouTube, just to rub it in there. Roleplay, you suck. No, I'm joking guys, it was great meeting you all and hanging out with you, because we're all good friends, other than just being admins on pages. We actually have been good friends well before. Christ, we were friends before setting up Game of Life, me, you, Richard and all that, so it's more than just, you know, colleagues in the same thing. We're actually good friends as well, so we had a really good time. And going on from Final Fantasy, let's cover some of the next gen side of things as well. So
before we do that, as in always, on any convention or expo, there is the meet and greet. So how did your guys go, and what were your thoughts on the people you met, as well as the cosplayers that you saw? Because I did see some pictures of photos of cosplayers.
Dean, do you want to kick off this before I ramble on?
Well, yeah, you'll probably do it. I mean, to be honest, Dave was doing most of the meeting and greeting. I was doing most of the playing the games. But the cosplayers I saw, there was a lot of attention to detail. They'd really gone to town and made effort to do it. It was, you know, it was a different level to what we'd seen before with the cosplay sort of stuff. The people that was there, 90% of them were fantastic. You could be in a queue, like I said, with the lower long queue, so we were there for a couple of hours. So the people around you in the queue, you'd get chatting to, and you know, you'd just be basically having a bit of a laugh with them and everything. And they were pretty brilliant. They're all gamers like we are. But the one thing I will say is that there was a couple of idiots there. And it was mainly related to the cosplayers, because Dead Rising 3 was out on by Microsoft. Microsoft had employed quite a few people to cosplay as zombies and literally roam around the halls, jumping out on people and doing what zombies do. And you always get the unfortunate incident that they'll do it and some idiot will decide to take it too far and start pushing them around and shouting at them and everything, which is not called for. At the end of the day, they've been paid to cosplay. It's for our entertainment and enjoyment. They don't need that sort of grief off people. You know, some people just need to get a grip, and you know, it's not real. They're not real zombies. They're not really trying to eat you. They're just, you know, they're just having a laugh. There's no need to scream and shout in someone's face or start pushing them around just because they've put their face in yours and gone rah at you. And that was the only sort of really disappointing thing I saw, behaviour-wise.
Where do I start? Right, well, like Dean said, he did do a lot more of the queuing and gaming and chatting to people, but once I got into the later days, I was taking a lot of pictures anyway. As you saw in Game of Life, there were loaded cosplay pictures and pictures of the booths where the games were. but it took me a day or so to really get my confidence up, because the sheer amount of people, like we were saying earlier, there was just so many more. Last year it were a bit more like, yeah, you know what I mean, it wasn't as claustrophobic and stuff. But this year it did take me a couple of days to get really into the swing of it, but I'm so glad I approached these amazing cosplayers. And if you guys are watching this, because I know a lot of you have commented on the actual cosplay video that I've put up, and I'll also annotate it in the video for YouTube when it's up on YouTube as well. We got a lot of love and likes for it. I was handing out these really cool business cards that my little brother designed, and we got a lot of people actually noticing us, going, oh wow, yeah, come on, let's take a picture. And I took a picture of these two people doing the Army of Two cosplay. They said, come here, give your camera, let's have a look. And I thought, oh, they wanted to see a picture, and then he took it off me and he said, right, come in, and squeezed us all in. I'm like, oh, they're taking a picture of me. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, you know what I mean? Like what Dean was saying, the love and the people that were getting involved, and, you know, attention to detail, and just so much. You know, we're all there enjoying the same thing. It didn't feel awkward. You didn't go around thinking, God, people are going to look at me weirdly. There's all these people dressed up in Joker face paint, or like Dean was saying, the zombies. These guys are looking all mutilated and stuff, and they didn't care because everyone were loving it. Like I said, there were a couple of idiots, but you know what I mean, there was so much love there. And one big thing for me, and you'll love this, Tempe, as well, the sheer amount of League of Legends cosplay. There was so much this year of League of Legends cosplay. There was a Lulu.
So, which League of Legends cosplayer or characters stood out for you the most?
Stood out for the most. There was a really nice Caitlyn that was there, I think, 2 days. There was a picture, not a very good quality picture, because of when she was doing the poses, she kept moving. She was just doing like a movement sketch, and every time I tried to approach her, she was swamped by about 30 other people. So I thought, oh, I'll find her later. And I never got a real good close-up picture. There was a few Teemo hats, so Tempe were everywhere.
There was quite a lot of Teemo hats, actually.
There were Teemo hats everywhere. There was Rammus hats all over the place as well. There were a couple of really nice Teemos. Like I said, Lulu day one, straight away. The first cosplay I saw properly was an epic Lulu cosplay. What else did I see League of Legends-wise? There were another one, but I can't remember off my head. Well, a more obscure character. I can't remember it well, because I spent a lot of the time around the cosplay area and watching the really cool shows, because they actually had like a full-blown catwalk where people could sign up in the costume and says, right, we're doing like a masquerade, so people can come out, do the poses, get people to take pictures. And they had like European professional cosplayers that are well known on Facebook and stuff like that. Also there, one of the pictures on the video I did, there's a Supergirl on there, Superwoman or Supergirl, and she's one of the biggest cosplayers in Spain. She was doing live stuff on the stage, showing you how to do all the sewing, and you know what I mean. There was just not just people walking around just posing. There were people actually showing people and talking to people about how to get into cosplay. You know what I mean, and that's why that side of things grew even more. That's why it felt a lot more bigger in that sense as well, with how much effort was put into just that little area of the gaming community, the whole cosplay feel. And other than that, with the meet and greet, I met a lot of cool gamers, a lot of nice people. The thing is, you hate stopping people, but I thought, come on, we're a community, let's get talking to these gamers. And once I broke the mould and talked to a couple of people, I approached groups of randomers, said hi, we've been here 4 days, check us out on the site, handed out business cards, you know what I mean, we've got a few extra likes here and there, we've got a few people on Twitter, cosplayers find us going, oh, you know, I found the picture, thanks, can I take it? I'm like, yeah, take it, you know what I mean. It's just helped our community grow even more in the space of 4 days than ever, really. It was just a big influx of all this new love and, you know, respect for us and for them as well, you know what I mean, because the professional side of me approaching them, and they were like, oh, you know, you've took the time out to do all this, you know, I'll check you out later, you know what I mean. So that were cool.
Plus you got to meet a couple of YouTube superstars as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't get to meet a couple. I only met one proper big one, really.
Well, between us we met a couple.
Yeah, Richard, and you met him, didn't you? Because it was you and Richard.
Me and Richard.
You met Syndicate?
Yep.
if nobody knows who Syndicate is, then where have you been? You know what I mean? Tempe, hang on, wait a minute. Tempe?
What?
Do you know who Syndicate is?
No.
I just thought then, I'm thinking, wait, no, if you don't know who Syndicate is... Whoa, hello, I forgot that we need to shift room. Mark, kick out a sec. Rowan unedited, people, Rowan unedited, we're recording the podcast.
Oh, right, sorry man. Me and Richard about to come and play League of Legends.
Well, jump into the other room. Sorry about this, people.
Richard's about to be on in like 10 minutes time.
We're going to jump into the other room.
Both...
It's okay, jump into the other room. Why would you shift
Live
the
and
people
unedited, people.
Live and unedited. We're jumping into the other room. And sorry about this, guys. That was Matt from Game of Life. And yeah, it was rather interesting. We need to get Dean the password.
There we go. We're just waiting for Dean to jump down.
Has he got the password for this?
No, poke him, give him the password.
I can't remember what this one is. Sorry about this, guys. I can't remember the password for this. What's the password, Tempe?
Emo.
Thank you. I'll have to change that now. Sorry about that.
Fine. I did whisper him now.
The prep for this podcast went a bit through the roof, but I said unedited, unrivaled. Maybe featuring Matt in the future episodes of the podcast, but his mic does play up, so you can't understand me. Game of Life, never prepared. Hello, Deano.
Sorry.
That was what you call professionalism. We didn't move into the other room. We've done this before. We've recorded videos and not moved into other rooms. So, yeah. As we were talking, like I said, the cosplay meet and greet were awesome. And I said, sorry, YouTube, about this mess up. But yeah, the meet and greet, like I says, I could have done a bit better myself. Like, got us a bit more out there all 4 days. But for the step up from the first Eurogamer to this one, I'll bring this guy into this. Warren came on the Sunday. You might have seen him in live streams as Razor. He's on the page now as Razor. We met up with him on Sunday, and me and him met up singly later on in the day when the other guys were queuing up for something, and they were like, "Oh, let's meet and greet people and hand out business cards." Now Warren, if he's watching this or he hears about this, then sorry mate, but Warren comes across as being, I'm this, really confident guy. Ian, he really is not. We went down into the show floor, he was just walking around going, okay, I'll just be your bodyguard. And I'm like, alright, just give me all the cards, and I just ended up stopping people and just handing cards out, and it was just good fun to get that confidence to talk to people I've never met before. But as soon as I started waving and smiling and saying, hi, have you been enjoying Eurogame? Everyone was like, yeah, it's awesome. I'm like, brilliant, I'm in. Handed cards out and stuff, and it was great. One point before we carry on, the amount of families that were there, Dean, there were a lot of groups with the mums and dads and 3 kids and stuff.
Definitely.
That were good to see, a lot more family orientated.
I think it helps definitely as well with them this year putting the over 18s upstairs on a separate floor rather than being as one area, because I remember last year had one massive area cordoned off, and the problem is that everyone was congregating around it, and obviously because there were adults there, then there was a lot of bad language flying around and things like that, so it wasn't the ideal place to have your children. But the fact that they'd separated the two, I think it made it a lot more family friendly. Yeah, it was definitely more approachable.
So the meet and greet, like I said, to wrap it all up there, the meet and greet bit was just awesome, and I can't wait for the next time to actually get in there and talking to people and just really enjoying it. So yeah, you want anything else added to that?
On a final note, how were to wrap things up with the Eurogamer, what are your impressions of it? Do you think they can improve a bit more? It's really amazing to see that they're actually taking care of putting the R-rated, the adult titles and the adult games on a different level, to oppose just mixing everything together, so make it family friendly in case of families. And we'll be seeing a lot more family gamers happening as our generations grow and we influence our kids when we have them into gaming communities.
Yeah, it was I love how it's growing, the Eurogamer, and I can see, because in it they're the same place next year, Dean.
It's in the same
now
thing.
I know there's been a lot of talk about, you know, moving it elsewhere. And to be honest with you, with the size of the place, I can see it actually moving, because with how big this one got, I can see it actually going to. I think it was the XL Arena in London that they wanted to move it to previous years, and I think that would be a great place because of the sheer size of the XL Arena. But like you were saying about the family-friendly stuff and everything, I'm so glad that they did split it all, because it gave people, you know, the families more freedom as such. They knew that there was just one escalator going up to the 18 plus area, so they knew they were away from all that. They knew they could just go around and enjoy seeing all these people dressed up, playing Nintendo games, playing board games, drinking Mountain Dew. You know what I mean? It was a lot of fun. And the big shops area, there were loads of shops with T-shirts and merchandise and stuff like that. So it was really really cool and that sign. So yeah, all that bit wrapped up. Before we move on to I'm just looking at time wise. Before we move on to the big section on esports, and I know Tempe's really eager to get her teeth into the whole LOL championships, we're going to do a quick rundown. Well, not really quick, but we're going to do a little breakdown to some of the big games we played on, so Tempe can see and hear a lot of the stuff as well from Eurogamer. And I'll kick off by Titanfall. What a game! An amazing game, worth queuing 2 hours for. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a totally multiplayer game with like a single player aspect where you've got like campaigny aspects built into it all. Me and Dean, we all played on it, didn't we? Really, we all queued up for Titanfall, and we had a good game. And you were even surprised because it were guys that came from the Call of Duty background that made this game, and wow, it was just awesome. The whole roof running, you know, there was like a load of cool backpacks and the big mechs and stuff, and it's a game to watch out for. That's one thing I will say, it's a game to watch out for next gen. Dean, do you want to pick up a game?
Yeah, I mean, a game that sort of really hit me as well, that I really enjoyed, was Dying Light. To be honest, it's a game I've not really heard a great deal about, and it's basically another zombie game, but as I actually played it, it's such a different spin on it. It's how would you describe it? It's like Dead Island should have been.
Yeah.
It's that open first player aspect of zombie, but it's got a lot of aspects of survival in and free player, and the twist on the game which makes it really good is that by daytime the zombies are fairly harmless and they lumber about in a sort of very zombie fashion, and you have to go out and find your stuff. But when nighttime falls, the zombies become super powerful, can run really fast and everything, and you literally just have to try your hardest to get it through the night. So you get all the supplies you need just to make it through the night, and it's such a fantastic twist on it. And the game ran absolutely beautiful. It looked gorgeous, and with not hearing a great deal about it, I expected nothing from it, and I came away with such a big smile on my face after playing it. It's a really good game to look out for, I think.
Definitely one, like I said, I played with it as well. Definitely one to look out for. Top of my head, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Right, I played that, and I'm glad I didn't pass this on to Dean, because I know what Dean's like with Assassin's Creed games. It was good. I did play on the PC. It looked great. It looked Assassin's Creed. It had the full blown. It was there, AAA status. Fantastic. But to me, they involved a lot of boat stuff in the demo that I played, and I'm like, no, I don't want to play boats. I just want to roof run and cause havoc and stuff. So that, I think Ubisoft are trying to incorporate more aspects into games, which is great, but instead of just being all, you know, boats and blowing stuff up and whatnot, I'm not keen on it in that way. But it's an Assassin's Creed game, it will sell, it's going to cause money, and to be honest with you, I'd check out all the trailers and stuff to watch out for, and I'm sure there's going to be big things for that to come. Dean, another game?
Another game that I played that I thought were amazing were Forza 5. I mean, everyone who sort of knows me knows that I'm a massive fan of my racing games. I've played to completion, putting in over sort of 300 hours plus on every Forza title that there's ever been, so I really thought I'd give Forza 5 a go, and oh my god, that is one of the games that really showcases the power of the next generation of consoles. Playing it was unbelievable. It's a driving game, so it's it's quite straightforward in what you're doing. The controls are always the same, and the cars look better, but it's the little details that the next generation power gives it. So the fact that you're driving down the straight at 200 miles an hour and you can see individual faces in the crowd at the side if you're waving, marshals at the side of the track waving flags and things like that. The level of detail in it is fantastic. It's unbelievable. They actually had a car there, a McLaren P1, on the display stand, and as daft as it sounds, the car in the game looked more real than the car that was actually there on the show floor. The level of detail was just that fantastic.
Yeah, I can actually remember seeing that because I actually played that as well, and it was impressive because I really enjoyed Forza 4 and playing this one. I know there was a few mixed reactions in the page about Forza, i.e. James. It never really blew him away, but in my personal opinion, it's just showcasing what this power of the new gen consoles can bring. Another game I've just got to bring this up because it's coming out anyway. Battlefield 4. I'm a big Battlefield fan. I've always been into the first-person shooters. I managed to get my hands on the game early one day, and if people have played the beta and thought, oh, it's a bit disappointing, the game that they had at Eurogamer was actually higher spec than the beta, or beta, what do you want to call it. I played the brand new Obliteration game type, where there was all these different areas to blow up and whatnot. It was just hectic madness. To be honest with it, all I did in the entire game was run around trolling, putting C4 on tanks and going kaboom. I ended up with a plus KD. I was just rocking it. It's Battlefield 3, but better, and with a lot more fun put in. And why change something that was amazing when you can just make it just that bit better anyway, by adding more influences, more maps, and apparently the story mode's going to be even better than the last one. I enjoyed Battlefield 3 story, and Battlefield 4 is meant to be even better. A game to check out, definitely, especially if you're into your Call of Duty, your Battlefield and stuff like that. Just a quick point out as well, none of us got a chance to play on Call of Duty Ghost, and to be honest with you, I'm not really bothered that I didn't. I'll be honest with you now, it's Call of Duty, to be honest, and I think everyone will agree, Dean will agree, it's just another Call of Duty game. Alright, they've put some new tweaks in it, apparently, but it's not really that impressive for me. Dean, another game?
The only other game that I really want to mention that really stood out for me was the Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh yeah, that was showcased as well. Did you just watch it, or did you get your hands on it?
No, it was a very playable beta. You could literally do what you wanted within it. Looks wise, it is actually running on PC, but obviously they've spent a bit of time working on it, and it's for higher end spec stuff. But to actually look at it, it's as gorgeous as Skyrim was, makes Skyrim look almost childlike. In the level of detail in the backgrounds and the scenery is absolutely amazing. But the biggest thing about it is obviously the freedom that you've got within. Like the original games, you can pretty much follow your own path with your own character, follow your own quests, everything like that, but it's obviously in an MMO basis. So you've got other characters that you can help them out on their quests. There is like storyline modes that you can go into and do the storyline quests, but overall it just looks fantastic. The one thing that was missing from Skyrim that made it a fantastic game was the ability to play with other people, and then this just fetches it and adds more on top, and it's amazing. When it comes out, it'll be the game that I have to buy a better PC for. It's that good to be able to run.
That is quite true. Unfortunately, I couldn't get on it, and I'm glad Dean did, because the way he explained to me, and I saw glimpses from a distance, and it looked awesome. One game that I really want to point out is, and I really enjoyed, even though I'm not massive into beat 'em ups, was Killer Instinct. And me and Dean went one-on-one in Killer Instinct, and that was our first Xbox One title we played, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the very first go with the Xbox One console.
Yeah, and a lot of people, when we mentioned it, a lot of people were like, oh, no, I bet it weren't Xbox One, but the unit was literally about 10 centimetres away from our hands, because we were using the actual Killer Instinct beat 'em up pad, the one with all the 6 buttons and stuff. The unit was, you could touch it, it was there, it was running off it, all the cables, because as we were playing on it, one of the units next to us kind of broke, didn't it? So the usual
Yes.
Xbox Xbox One breakage. So yes, it was. The units that were there was playable. The Xbox One was playable with. A couple of them weren't. Titanfall wasn't running on Xbox; it was running on PC.
No, Titanfall ran on PC.
Battlefield ran on I think it was the 360. I'm not sure, but Dead Rising, Rise, Killer Instinct, Forza 5, and a couple of us were on Xbox One. Also, and I think Temple will be interested in hearing this as well. Dean managed to get his hands on the PlayStation 4. I didn't.
Yes.
Now.
Yes. Now there is a little story to this.
Here we go.
So be prepared, and it's not the best story in the world.
This is going to be
Now, Xbox had quite a large area that they had all their games in. There was all open sort of things with individual queues. Could see everything that was going off. So you could see the games being played while you were stuck queuing and everything like that. Sony decided they was going to have their own area of the show. Everything Sony was in this one area. Now, which was all well and good. From a distance, it looked awesome because you looked in, you saw hundreds upon hundreds of massive screens playing PS4 games, Vita games, all that sort of stuff. I can't wait to get in there to have a go. So we joined the queue to get into the area. The queue was 2 hours long just to get into the area. Now, the biggest problem that we found is once we got to the end of the queue and we thought, right, here we go, we was given a ticket. Well, we was actually given 2 tickets. One ticket you could cash in to play one of the AAA titles, and one ticket you could cash in to play one of the indie titles, and that was it.
Oh,
You could
God.
go around and play all the games. You could choose one of either type of game. Now, what made it even more annoying is the fact that once you were in this area, you then had to queue to get on the game that you'd chosen.
That was really poorly planned.
I then had to join another hour queue. I mean, I played Drive Club on PS4 as my AAA title because I like my driving games, and I thought it'd be a good comparison against Forza 5. So I queued for another hour to then get in to play Drive Club, which was a 10-minute demo. Now, it put me in a really bad mood, and I was really, really pissed at Sony for treating me like that. There was making a big song and dance about how it was the better console, and they had a massive screen there showing videos of all this, and then they went and treated everyone that way, which really upset me. When I actually got my hands on it and played it, it never blew me away. It honestly didn't. I think the biggest thing is as a box, if you look at it as a black box of electronics and look at the specs, it looks fantastic. If you read the instructions, it's one of them things that you think, wow. You actually pick it up and play it and you think, what were all the fuss about? And I think the biggest problem is none of the games that got there showcased what it can technically do. I think that's a problem. There were very, very poor titles for the PS4, as what they was calling the AAA titles. Which there was FIFA 14, there was Drive Club. What was the other one, Dave?
Killzone.
I can't remember. Killzone, yeah. And none of them were fantastic. There was pretty average games as launch games. There was nothing that really stood out for you. So it just soured the whole experience with the PS4. And my thoughts going into it, I thought, right, I'm going to give it a go. I've never been a PlayStation fan of a fan of the PS3, but I'm still not sold yet on which way I'm going on next gen. So I'll give the PS4 a go. This is its chance for it to sell it to me. So come on, Sony, sell it to me. I want to buy this. And they just completely pulled the rug from under me. I left there thinking, you know what? If I never play another Sony console again, it won't be a bad thing. And I shouldn't have done that. It just really upset me.
So, from a distance, before we do like a quick wrap up, from a distance, it did look really nice, and I was really hyped up for the whole Killzone Shadowfall, because watching that at E3, it was like, oh my god, it was just so seamless from cinematic to game, and I'm like, wow, this really does blow me away. But after hearing Dean and the others were like, oh, it was a bit unfortunate. Now, if they played it out like Xbox did, with the singular booths and maybe waiting, alright, queuing for a couple of hours to play the game, that's fine, yeah. But the way they played it out, I think that was a bad play by Sony, in all fairness, by saying you can only play one of these and one of these. Not like you can, queue up singular to each game and play. To be honest with it, and I think they'll agree, if you got told you can only play 5 minutes of each game, but you can play all of them if you want, you'd have queued up for a bit longer, wouldn't you, just to get a quick dabble on it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I was quite prepared to spend a good 3 or 4 hours in there going through all the games, everything that Sony had got to offer. Yeah. To experience it, and I wasn't allowed to do that, which is what really annoyed me.
It was a bit disappointing the way you lot reacted. I'm just looking at time wise. Right, to wrap up this whole news thing, if Tempe's going thin tad, we'll add it in the end. But I want to just quickly go between me and Dean. Really, the 5 pinnacle things of EGX 2013. It can be a game, it can be something you saw. Quick fire. I'll bounce off you. What would you say was the top 5 things of EGX 2013? I'll start off, and I think the top thing for me, to be honest with you, was the cosplay. Dean?
Game-wise, the top game for me was definitely Titanfall. It stole the show.
Second one for me probably would be Battlefield 4. It were amazing. Dean?
Another thing for me was Microsoft. I think they blew the show away with their level of crowd participation, the way the booths were set up, how friendly they were. It was just awesome.
Third one for me, beating Charlie, Roleplay UK. Hi guys, 1-0 on FIFA 14, and actually seeing it on the Xbox One, and it was actually quite nice. Very shiny, but quite nice. Dean?
Another one for me, again, as I've already touched on earlier, was the indie games and meeting the indie developers, speaking to them about why they developed the game, what the idea was, and how they fetched it to life. It's something that you don't normally experience as a gamer.
Number 4 for me probably would have to be the Lego Marvel Heroes. We didn't really touch on it, but I want to bring it up now. Lego Marvel Heroes. If you enjoy Lego games, this just takes it on to the next level. I won't put any spoilers out there. All I've got to say, it's funny. Just check it out. If you love Lego, we don't even need to explain it even more to you. It's the same thing, but even better and funnier. Dean?
Another thing I want to fetch up, as we touched on before, was that silly little card game that we ended up spending hours playing, giggling our socks off like little teenage girls. It was awesome.
Before I move on to my last one, Dean, what was the card game called?
Dobble.
You can pick it up on, is it on Android and...
Yeah, you can actually get it as an app for iOS and Android to play on a tablet and a phone, and you can buy the actual card game from Amazon.
Which is really cool. I'll put the annotation in the video of the game as well to check it out, because it was like Dean was saying, because me and Dean on the way back from Eurogame on the train back to where we live, we were playing Dobble for about a good half an hour, just messing around. So there we go. My last thing really, just the whole thing of EGX, just how big it's grown, the whole environment, the friendliness. The last thing I forgot to mention, I should actually mention this in the last one. I made a new friend, a really cute little girl, not a little girl, cute woman from Game. I forgot her name, but she's in one of the videos. Me and her every day, I stopped to chat to her, and she was so nice and friendly. She took a card off me for Game for Life, and she was like, "Oh, this is awesome," and she was just so nice to stop and actually talk to somebody about it, and they were like, "Oh, you still here?" So, yeah, and she was just really little, she was having fun, she was chatting to everybody, she was just a really nice person, Dean, last one?
Yeah, I think pretty much I've got the same one as my last one as well. The actual people that we met there, the gamers, was such a friendly bunch. Obviously we got gaming in common, but they were open to talking to you, discussing ideas, discussing what we thought about the games, and the actual staff that worked there were fantastic. They never saw it as a chore. They were enjoying it as much as we were.
So yeah, all in all, it was really, really interesting. And before we wrap this all up, I'd just like to say, check out gamerforlife.co.uk for some of the reviews that we did, some experiences, all that on the site. Also, we've got bits dotted all over Facebook, a couple of videos on YouTube. Just check it out. If you've never been to a convention, I'd recommend it. you don't have to go to Eurogamer. There's stuff in Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle. You go to one and enjoy it. It's an experience. Even if you go for one day, I'd recommend it. After the one last year, that was my very first expo, I was hooked. We were just, once we left, we were like, oh, this is sad that we're leaving. And the year between the two expos, we were just building up and building up and building up and building up for the epic time with friends, video games, just a good laugh all round, and I'd recommend it to anybody. So, Tempe, have you got anything that you want to ask, add, or anything?
No, it looks like you guys have had fun. Hopefully I'll be joining you next year.
We'd love it. We'd love it if you come.
Also, on the note of traveling and just going places, on the 26th of December, I will be landing in London.
Ooh.
Cool.
What are you doing? What are you doing in London? Is that something to do with the casting?
I'm going privately, just for fun. For 6 days, I'll be from the 26th of December to the 1st of January in England.
Nice time
Yes,
to come
so-
down as well. All snowy and slushy.
Yeah, to be honest, it won't be much different in Croatia, so might as well just change one scenery for the other.
That's nice. That's nice to hear. So, in future podcasts, we'll be listening to Tempe's experience of London, as me and Dean have been a couple of times.
I won't be staying in London, I'll be just passing through and then taking a 3-hour train ride up to and slightly above Manchester. So I'm going to Kendal. Which is cool because the 3-hour train ride means I can actually see the countryside and a bit of scenery instead of just going from one plane ride to the other and just seeing major cities for a few hours or so. I might stop or may spend a few hours in London before taking a train ride and doing the same thing in Manchester. So
That'd be cool. It's an experience to see. So, yeah, we'll be hearing a few things in future podcasts then from Tempe in the UK. Yay.
yeah, it will be my first trip to UK as well. So
That'll be awesome. So, welcome to UK. Yay. Yeah, so really we've wrapped up. The main thing about this podcast for this month was going to be Eurogamer and the League of Legends World Championships. Me and Dean, unfortunately Tempe was in the corner a lot in that one. Yeah. Me and Dean covered the major gaming stuff, but this is probably where Dean will go a bit quiet, even though we are all League of Legends players here. Tempe is now going to take the floor for the big esports section. So recently,
where's my oxygen tank? Okay.
recently
Very
it
good.
was the League of Legends World Championships, and Tempe, take it away.
So yes, it's been a grueling season that's nearing the end. We're like literally 2.5 weeks away from season 3 ending, and it has been an explosive season. The metagame for League of Legends has been changing on a monthly basis, from the LCS's players and the competitive scene just being formatted the way it was. We had Americans, Europe, and Asians battling it out for the season 3 World Championship prize pool, as well as the awesome trophy of awesome, as well as rings. So lots of things were given to the victors of season 3 championship, world champions. So it started on the 15th of September, which is literally a month ago. It was a 3-week long exposition, 3-week long brilliant tournament done beautifully, awesome production, brilliant casters. I enjoyed every single one of them, and the games were kicked off with Gaming Gear EU versus TSM Dragon. So Oceania versus America. TSM won, really no point. The games progressed throughout the evening for the Europe and ended up at 6 AM Paris time, or CEST, on the 16th of September, so literally throughout the night. Brilliant. It was Gambit Gaming versus Samsung Ozone, so it was Asia versus Europe this time, and of course Europe won. Just throughout the whole 3 weeks, especially in the group stages, the matchups were going up and down. Can't exactly find the group stages endings or how it ended, but we did have few teams waiting in the quarterfinals. So in the end, in the quarterfinals were Gamma Bears, which seeded immediately, versus SKT Telecom from Group A. Gambit Gaming from Group B was meeting up Najin Blacksword, who was also an instant seed into the quarters. Royal Club versus OMG. Royal Club was the instant seed, or were they? Give me a second. It's been 3 weeks. Yes, Royal Club was the instant seed into the quarters, while OMG battled it through from Group A. Was it? Yes, Group A. Also, there was one more, and it was me closing stuff while this is happening. It was Fnatic versus Cloud9, and they came out of group stages with phenomenal scores. Cloud9, I think, only had one defeat. Fnatic only had 2 defeats in leaving their group stages.
Cloud9 was the automatic seed. They didn't lose in group. They went straight into.
Oh yeah, true. You're right. They were the American automatic seed because they did phenomenally in the NALCS. I do apologize. It's 11:30 my time, so I'm slightly getting tired after a full day job of 8-hour shift. So Fnatic was battling the immediate seed in the quarterfinals. The semifinals were between SK Telecom T1, so Koreans versus Najin Blacksword, which were, I think, they were the Koreans. So yeah, Korea versus Korea, brilliantly done there. But that's who they chose. And we have Royal Club versus Fnatic. The SKT Telecom versus Najin Blacksword ended up in 3-2. Full 5 games, brilliantly done. Unfortunately, I didn't see all of them because it was done at 5 AM and I had to work that weekend. Or actually, no, I think I had to work that weekend. Or no, actually, wasn't working that weekend. I didn't have to go to work, but I went to sleep because too tired.
She can't remember.
I really can't. The 3 weeks were so explosive, so brilliant, and with me working a day job and watching the Worlds, it kind of meshed together because I was going to sleep around 8 PM and waking up at 4 or 5 AM to watch the games before going to work. So I do apologize if some of the things are slightly off, but I'm still remembering how amazing it was and how brilliant it was to watch it, most of it live. I have been watching the VODs, but again, it was literally just a few weeks ago, and things have just meddled together, especially since I'm also now, again, casting for the EGL every weekend. So a lot of League of Legends games being watched and casted.
Before Tempe goes into the final, I just want to add my little 2 pence into this whole World Championships thing. Unfortunately, I've had a lot more time on my hands, so I've been able to watch a few more of the games, and I must say the group stages were amazing. I think Fnatic ended up 7-1, and OMG in the opposite group ended up, I think they were 7-1 as well. They end up...
Yeah, SKT Telecom lost to OMG in the last match, in the last day of the group stages.
Yeah, so it was quite a... you can tell the difference in the talent in both groups. Like Fnatic literally were just doing the... I think Fnatic lost in their last day, didn't they? The last group stage day. Fnatic lost their one game in the last group stage day.
No, they lost the one game on only the... I think it was the only...
Yeah, because it was 7-1 when they finished up, I think.
I think it was 7-2 because they ended with 10 wins and 5 losses.
Ah, that's true.
Overall.
But they both ended up top of the tables, and to be honest with you, they really deserved it, in my personal opinion. As me and Tempe are both big fans of XPK, the mid laner for Fnatic. He had a good tournament, I must say. There were a few dicey moments, especially in that semi-final, where he just went a bit... For me, it was a bit... but it was a long, gruelling World Championships, to be honest with you, and it was a really good venue, and like Tempe was saying earlier, the casters, wow, they enjoyed it, they had so much fun, and my main man, D-Man, he had some amazing games, he casted some awesome stuff, and luckily I changed my sleep pattern very slightly to watch at least some of the games being played, and agreeing with Tempe, it was some amazing talent and styles being played, like the metagames changing constantly, and you could see the different styles, like the Korean play, the Chinese, and it was, you said it was the Oceania team, and there was one team from Luxembourg, wasn't there? The other one, is it Mineski or Mineski the other one? I'm not sure.
Mineski is from Philippines.
Mineski were the Philippines, and I think they didn't even win a game, did they? Or
no, let me just recheck that actually area. Mineski had 0 wins and 8 losses. So they are from Southeast Asia, so they are from the Philippines. And literally, they did win in that off wildcard tournament that there was, and they just went to the Worlds to see how it is, to gain experience, to feel the crowd, and just to play the games. And they learned a lot. They were improving near the end of the group stages. They did improve. They could battle. They could stand up to some of the major players in their group, which was Group B. Was it? No, Group A.
She's mixing the group stuff.
But the thing is, there are so many. Group B. They were in Group B. I did say it right the first time around. In Group B, that unfortunately, they were still up against powerhouses like Fnatic and Gambit Gaming.
And they did really well. To play against the best teams in Europe, they helped. Like you said, they learned. Alright, they lost, but they were learning as they were going along. Even the casters and the guys after the matches were talking about how they were saying, it's a free win in a way, but you could tell as the group stage was going on that they were learning, they were getting the kills as well. The kill ratio and the goal ratio were totally through the roof in some of the games, but you can tell the quality from the standard of teams that are already fixed in these leagues, like the LCS, the NA, EU, and all that lot. The amount of talent that's going into it, because like me and Dean and Richard and the other community members that play League of Legends, we're like, we want to get into ranked, and then we look at these guys and think, oh my god, if that's what ranked's going to be like, I don't really want to play it, you know what I mean? Because the talent is just sheerly amazing, it's just so amazing.
Well, the ranked start off really, really badly, like some of the first games in normal that you play as a lobby or just as you hit level 30. But as you grow through the ladder and get to gold, high gold, enter platinum, that's where you see actually the changes in how creeping, like CSing, killing minions, is worth it, but not pushing, just last hitting them, taking that last thread of life that they have. Having map control, it all comes into play, because the more map control you have, it's easier for you to win and catch someone off guard.
Definitely, most definitely. So the final. Tempe.
Oh, you said carry on. It sounded like hold on.
Oh no, the final. Sorry, the final. I know we stopped you before the final, didn't we?
Yeah, it was SK Telecom T1 and Negin's Black Sword in the first semi-final, and it ended up in 3-2. Really amazing games that I've seen. Very close, but SK Telecom T1 just pulled ahead, and they steamrolled in the last 2 games, or in the last game over Negin Black Sword, but was really worth watching. If you can still watch it, go check out that VOD. It is brilliant to see. Then we had, on the same day, but later, 8 PM UK time, Royal Club versus Fnatic. And this was the match I was waiting for. It was supposed to be brilliant. It was brilliant. Fnatic was losing 2-0 in the first 2 games because they were trying to test some new things. Then 3rd game happened, they won. They won beautifully. 4th game happened, and still, we had not seen one single teleport from Fnatic, and that's that staple. They are known for their split pushing double teleport composition, and Royal was ready for it, but you can never be ready for that tactic. Unfortunately, they were winning. They were, for the most part, holding their own. They were winning some team fights. They were coming up ahead. They were keeping up. They had the advantage in gold, but at 35th minute, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong in the minutes, but mid to late game, Cyanide got caught. and it escalated. Royal Club just took the lead, they obliterated them, and they won their that fourth game, which made it 3-1, and it was devastating. I was sitting there watching, gobsmacked. I just was speechless. I still am, and I still feel sad that I would watch such an amazing game where Fnatic could have won, brought it into the fifth game, still ran the teleports, and they would have probably won. Even if they lost in the fifth game, they shouldn't have lost the fourth game.
But
After that...
Can I just put in there? Sorry, I've got to put in there. If anyone remembers the very first podcast that we did last month, we put predictions down for where we'd like to see the European teams come through. And I hate to ring my own bell, but I did say Fnatic. No, actually, I said Lemon Dogs used to Fnatic. I just realised before we recorded this, I was saying I picked Fnatic, but you picked Fnatic. I said Lemon Dogs will be the one that goes into the semi-finals. Ouch.
Yep, and I said nope, Fnatic will come to semi-finals, but I wasn't sure if they're gonna get to finals.
So Tempe wins that prediction. I can't believe I thought it were Fnatic. No, but I said Lemon Dogs because of their LCS split when they had a really good run. But Lemon Dogs didn't do as good as I thought. The two, to be straight.
No, I actually nicknamed them Lemon Puppies because they became really puppies. I'm not sure if it was because of the big stage and the difference of crowd, but they weren't performing the way they usually did. I'm still glad that they went. I still somewhat enjoy their games, but it was really painful to watch time and time again that what mistakes they were doing, how they were being picked off, and just they weren't playing their game. They were trying to, but they weren't allowed to play their game. Also, Davey never go up against the Queen of Predictions, as Sona learned on the 12th and 13th of October on that EGL tournament.
Yeah, I kind of heard Sona actually turn on and say, "No, I'm no good with predictions," and yeah, I think you should stick by that rule, not actually getting in there, because you seem to pick out the right ones at the right time. To be honest, because I forgot. I went for Lemon Dogs, not Fnatic, but I know I'll have to listen back to the last podcast, to be honest with you, just to make 100% sure it was me that said that. But yeah, it was pretty good. But
the
yes,
Queen of Predictions, people. The Queen of Predictions.
Indeed. So, now we've gone through all that, there was only one game left. That was the...
Indeed, and that happened on the 5th of October. So, literally just 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was a Saturday, it was at 5 a.m. and the funny thing is, I worked on the finals. So I watched one game, went to work, and it was like, what the hell happened? I want to know, who won? What the heck? I came home, watched the VODs, I didn't look anything but the VODs, I didn't know who won, and I was like, okay, so, SKT, Telecom T1 just obliterated the first game. It really amazingly. Royal Club couldn't put in anything. They were trying. Props for them for trying. They really were doing some amazing plays, but they were mostly just chasing around SKT T1. Second and third game, even more smoother, even more easier. I think the second game was a bit of a hiccupy where Royal Club could have taken the lead, but they never did because SK bounced back so well, SKT Telecom. And wow, 3 games out of best of 5, 3-0 for SK Telecom T1, and they are the Koreans. So after the games, or even before the games, Monty, a caster from the Asian scene, so he is an American casting for the Asians, or actually shoutcasting on English, the Asian scene. That's it. Thank you, brain. I do apologize, my brain has stopped functioning there for 5 seconds. It needed a reboot.
Did he win the predictions race? Because there was a prediction race between the
only
fans.
Monty won, because Monty, right before the finals, said SK Telecom T1. He started up his hype train. He had his little conductor hat. He had the train whistle, and he had train tickets that he handmade. So he was giving them to everyone, and everyone's like, "Psh, no, Royal Club." And then after the first game, Quickshot went, "Huh, I want that ticket, Monty." Or actually, after the second game, he went, "Monty, can I have that ticket?" So he got that. And after the third game, Crepo and Double Lift fixed their tickets. I was like, "We have our tickets," and Monty was like, "Nope," and just showered them with the rest of his tickets. He was like, "Here, have some more." The hype train, and I'm happy that he may won the prediction. I really didn't predict much about it. Who will win? I thought that Royal Club will put a better fight against SK Telecom T1 because we have been following SKT T1 from the group stages. If you weren't following the Asian from the Korean scene, you can watch that. And I saw that they were powerful, and I knew Royal Club would have a bit of a hard time, but I was expecting Royal Club from the game versus Fnatic, because they were a powerhouse back then. If Royal Club was playing finals versus Fnatic, if they're playing against Fnatic like they played in finals, Fnatic would have won easily, like really super easily. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened, that Royal Club just went, eh.
Indeed, it was definitely very it. So it was quite a whitewash. STK Telecom Team 1 or T1 or whatever you want to call them did win. It was, to quickly wrap up the championships, it was an interesting championships. It was enjoyable. It was fun.
It was brilliant. It was enjoyable. The casting was done superbly. They had it set up really nicely. American and European casters working together, seeing them cast differently, seeing D-Man and Jet working together, which is like a brilliant play-by-play and color casting combination. Also, what they did for the semis and the finals were bring out the three-man cast, the Korean type of casting with 2 play-by-plays and a color caster. There was a main play-by-play caster for the team fights, the secondary play-by-play caster for the skirmishes, and just the general rundown of what was happening, and the occasional builds and just stuff like that. And then there was the color caster who's doing stuff when the replay showed up, before some major, after some major actually team fights, and slightly before some team fights when he was discussing possible item builds, new item builds, possible outcomes of other new team fights. So it was really nice to see how a proper English three-way casting could work, and I really want to try it again. Just have 2 play-by-plays and a color caster in, and it's something I'm really looking forward to researching a bit more and trying out as well.
I'd definitely vote for that, because I know my play-by-play casting's not amazing. I could honestly see myself being the skirmishy kind of, itty-bitty bit, and somebody else being the major team fight play-by-play, and then obviously the call caster. I'd be definitely interested in doing that. So that, yeah, I am interested in how that one plays out, because it's nice to see more people getting involved as well. People might think, it's a bit claustrophobic, 3 people watching the same match and talking, but if you work well as a team, as me and Tempe have been working together a lot, and as she's been working with all the EGL staff as well, learning with the whole play-by-play caller casting, you get used to the whole, when someone stops talking, pass it on to the other person. It's more of a fluent mix, and people make mistakes, but watching it is just a piece of work, really. It's such an amazing thing to see. But as we're still in League of Legends, and is Dean still about? Is he not fallen asleep on us as we've been
I don't know,
talking?
I think Dean should be around, because Dean?
Dino?
Said. Oh, sorry.
Dean's it.
I'm still here.
To wrap it all up, this whole League of Legends esports thing, I just want to mention a couple of things before we get into the tail end of the podcast. Yes, the World Championships were on, and they did the big pack on League of Legends, the championship skins and packs where you can buy the characters that Telecom used, and the skins as well for a reduced price, so I'd recommend you check it out. But the one thing I want to talk about now, because us 3 are really into League of Legends now, is your personal opinion on the latest character Jinx.
Oh god,
So-
I have been sitting around with my friends on Skype and just talking about her. She is amazing. I like how she is. Everyone is so crazy about her. Some of us are expecting a nerf on some of her damage,
Yeah,
but
she's
she
creepy.
has the potential to enter hyper carry.
Definitely needs a
tier.
nerf.
Yeah, she definitely is. Her attack speed is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? She is so quick in fact, it's just constant attacking. But I love the look. I really love how she looks. The way she acts. That music video just sold her to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's amazing.
Because I'm surprised people are not sick of it yet, especially the ones that were watching the EGL semifinals when Versona and I had a bit of an hour and a half almost delay, and I think we dropped it 3 times in addition to dropping some stick figure spotlights, as well as the cinematic Twist of Fate and the old season 2, or actually season 1, the Demon Blade Tryndamere trailer, which was a fun thing because not many people knew that the trailer was out. Usually you just see an announcement, oh, legendary incoming. So I'm kind of sad that they stopped doing trailers for legendaries.
Definitely. So, Dean, what do you think of Jinx? Your personal opinion?
She looks a really fun character, actually. I like what they've done with her, but yeah, I think she's definitely due a nerf in an update. She's does seem a little OP, especially with her attack speed and her damage. She's but that's the problem you find with new characters. It takes a while for them to strike a fair balance with them.
She's actually quite balanced, don't get me wrong. She's actually one of the balanced characters, champions there is in League of Legends, especially after her release, because she was already nerfed on the public beta realm.
Yeah.
But because she scales so nicely, my friends and I speculate that they won't touch her movement speed or touch her get excited passive. They're gonna hit directly her damage. I'm not sure if it's gonna be base damage reduced on her grenades that she tosses, those little nom-noms.
They are quite cool.
They're brilliant. Or just the scaling of AD into some of her stuff. But yeah, as I said, she has the potential of becoming a hyper carry because of her Sharkzuka. And nobody realizes how much damage that can have or has once it's late game and she has all her items and she just launches it on the other side of the map where a team fight is happening. It lands and it will deal tons of damage.
Puns.
As
puns
it gains damage over time it takes to travel.
It's, to be honest with you, like I said, that is an amazing. It's a bit, right, now here's one thing for you, because we had a recent edition as well with what's his name? Because I think he's terrible. Lucian, yes. Now with them 2 characters, Lucian, he was good, but he seemed more the opposite side of the scale. A lot of people thought, yeah, he was great, and then he just seemed to die off. But now with Jinx here, are we going to see the same thing? Is she going to be with a lot at first, and then she just dies off, or do you think she's going to be one of the
I
ones?
think she will. With Lucian, he was hyped up.
Yeah,
he was really hyped, and you were expecting like this awesome gunslinger to show up, and he's still awesome. Don't get me wrong. He still has his uses. He's still a good. I'm gonna say he's a decent AD carry, but he's more like Misfortune. He is mana based. While I don't think, Jinx is mostly attack damage. She still uses her abilities and everything, but she can still auto attack.
definitely.
Doesn't necessarily need to constantly drop her abilities.
Definitely.
I think she's a bit of a mixture, which is nice. At the end of the day, I think she's just more balanced than Lucian was, and that's why you saw Lucian dropped off. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lucian picked up again in Season 4 or pre-season and played in middle.
That would be a nice addition, because that role might suit him more in that position.
Because he has an escape ability with his Relentless Pursuit, which is his E. He has the culling, so he can easily pull back while still shooting from level 6.
Yes.
And yeah, he just has the piercing like the Nardan Blaze, so he can easily protect himself. Not sure about the AP ratios on some of the abilities, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised to see him picked up again with the new changes upcoming for in pre-season 4. Because in only 16 days, Season 3 will officially end. So do hurry up, guys, if you want to get that Victorious Elise skin. You only need to be Gold 5.
But anyway, to wrap up this last bit of League of Legends section, I just want to throw something out there. I know we've mentioned before about our favourite champions. Now, things can change over the course of 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. And with Dean here being a League of Legends player as well, I'm going to ask all three of us, we're going to give you our top champion at the moment and our worst champion at the moment. It doesn't mean if we've played them, or it could be we've gone head on head with them and they constantly just do our heads in, i.e. Timo with Dean a few months back. He had a really bad relationship with that little yodel. But so I'm going to ask Tempe first. Who is your big top star champion at the moment, and who is your pain in the arse, I'm never playing her again, or I don't want to face them again champion at the moment?
Well, at the moment I've been playing quite a lot of Lee Sin jungle, so I'm gonna say that he's my top jungle at the moment, my flavor of the month, as you will. Because I'm not doing the insect moves where I'm queuing an enemy champion, putting a ward, jumping on them, putting a ward in front of them, safeguarding to the ward, kicking them back. I'm not saying I'm on par with that. My friend Lona is. He is bad at queuing, but he literally pulled 5 insect moves in one game. And it was brilliant to watch, to see him. He's a Platinum 4, I believe. Give me a second to check. Yes, he's Platinum 4. So he has the skill and he did use it. He likes to do hard moves to make. He makes them easily. He just needs to figure out he needs to figure out how to do the first one, or how to position himself to do the first one, and after that he's just repeating the process and it gets better and better. My worst champion at the moment, I would say, is Zed.
Okay. Why is that? Is it something
Zed or Fizz? I can't decide between those two, but I'm gonna say stick with Fizz. Fizz is so hard to counter. Really, really so hard. The only way I learned, or I actually managed to do it, with a Zyra, but I really, really do not like seeing Fizz in my lane, and it can become a very, very nightmarish lane. If I'm not very careful.
Yeah, Fizz can be a bit of a pain. So, what we'll try and do is, before I move on to Dean, what we'll try and do is each month, each podcast, whoever we talk to, if they don't play League of Legends, it would just be me and Tempe, but we'll do who we've been playing recently, who is our big one and worst one at the moment. So, Dean, now, I don't even know why I'm going to ask you who's your favourite champion, because I know who your favourite champion is, and I think he needs to expand more. But, Deano, who is your top dog champion? It's like, wow, he's so amazing, she's so amazing, or whatever. I've just said he because I think it's going to be the same guy. And who is the biggest pain in your backside in the...
Well, it might be a little bit of a shock this for you, but the past month or so, I've been really enjoying playing Jax for a change.
Oh my god, he's changed it.
There we go, see, you weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't actually. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying him. It's a refreshing change.
I need a change.
I'm still playing him in a bit of a sort of aggro assassin style.
Yeah.
To how I normally play Garen. I've enjoyed playing him. I've had some really good matches with him, to be fair.
Brilliant, brilliant. You should try playing him in more of a bruiser than an assassin. It works brilliantly because you still get the necessary damage from some of the half defensive items, and you're still a powerhouse when you're kicking those turrets. Main thing is, get Blade of the Ruined King and get Trinity Force. You're sorted.
Yeah, I always stack Triforce as my first purchase, and then I usually run Hydra and a bit of Mallet for defense.
No, don't kick off Hydra and get Blade of the Ruined King, because Blade of the Ruined King gives you everything you need, and try building Blightwater Cutlass first, Then Phage, Sheen, finish Blade of the Ruined King, get 1,200 and odd gold, finish Trinity Force, and get boots of a Ninja Tabby. This should be done.
Before I go on, Tempe, what's your famous line about Jax as well?
He avalanches. He doesn't snowball, he avalanches.
He definitely avalanches. If he has a good game, he avalanches. He really just goes to town.
The only champion I've ever known to stop an avalanching Jax is Singed. He can be underfed, he can come up to Jax, and Jax, knowing that he's powerful and he's fed, will just tunnel vision, chase Singed, and if Singed is smart and knows how to run and keep Jax occupied, and keep Jax running into his poison, Jax will die.
Fair play. That is a very fair play. Now, Dean.
And what is Dean's pain in the backside champion of this month? Flavor of the month.
What's your least one? Your Marmite, for instance. Dean. We started rambling, so he must have pulled the other. Deano.
No, sorry, I absolutely. I'm just actually watching Richard and Matt get absolutely decimated. Well,
that's the getting decimated. Oh, that's made my night even better. Your worst character, then? Your one that thinks, "Oh, don't put me with him," or "I'm never playing him again," or her. Or
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, like I say, I used to have this issue with Teemo that no matter what I did, Teemo. I just couldn't counter Teemo in any way, shape, or form. It was a funny relationship. I seem to have a handle on Teemo now, and now I'm not afraid of him, and I build around him. He doesn't worry me in the slightest. But there's a couple of others that have really started to give me a bit of grief, but there's no one particular that.
Okay, let's. Who was this week's the most grievous champion you faced?
I can't remember now. Who were it, Dave? Because whoever it were was shutting us all down in the last few games. I'm trying to think who it were now.
That's making us think now.
It were a female character, and she absolutely ran the game for the opposing team.
You made me forget now, Dean. I know what you're about, but
I can't remember now for the life of me.
Well, it was a female, so
that's half the roster.
My mind's gone blank.
Your mind's gone blank. Right then, so it's down to me. Right, as everyone knows, I enjoy playing Ash. Ash is my go-to character, and Dean's probably thinking now he's going to pick either one of two. Right, well, it is going to be one of two. But recently I've got my hands on Jarvan, and oh my god, Dean will probably agree with me, I've been more aggressive with Jarvan, and I might not have got the massive
drag.
I might not have got the KD. In some of the games with Rich especially, we've seen a lot of really high KD with me and a lot of really good plays where I've ended up maybe 15-20 assists because me, Richard and Dean have jumped in and just caused so much damage. And it is ultimate. The tricky bit with his ultimate is people can jump over it and it keeps people trapped in. It's 50-50. But if you time it right, and like it says with the lance and everything, oh my god, it is a fantastic character. And
the way you go around it is you gank a lane, force a flash out of it, then return a minute later, gank again, or just 30 seconds later, just make a circle, jump on them with your ultimate, and they won't escape you because you already used their flash.
That is true. That's one thing I worked out. If you force their flashes, you've got more chance in getting them. So Jarvan definitely has been at the moment my number one character. Now,
and who did you dislike most?
I'm going to kick myself in the head about this because I was bigging him up for a while because I can't remember what league I was watching or something that was on this live stream, but I was seeing Dean will be shocked when he hears this, the Singed. I hate Singed now. It just winds me up. I had Singed support, me and Dean will remember this. Singed support, I was doing an absolutely amazing job for one game of getting the kills in. We actually held our own quite well, and then every Singed game after that it was just so I've gone to Singed. I went, yeah, hop it mate, I've had enough of you. So at the moment, going against Singed, like you were saying earlier, you want to go after him because especially when he's only got like 1 or 2 bars of health left, you're like, I want to kill you, but that poison every time you fall for it, and it's like
You don't chase the Singed who is on low health. If you run in Ignite, drop him to low health, ignite him, and just walk away. If it kills him, it kills him. If not, you're alive. Just don't chase Singed.
Don't chase the Singed. But at the moment, he is the worst one. I've not come across anyone that's been a massive pain in my arse at the moment to play against, but to play with and against. I know I've had a couple of games where I've tried avoiding Singed because I get to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, he's down low health. He turns away from me and I start chasing him like, Dave, what are you doing? Because your health's going down really quickly. And then I die. And then I'm on the big hype train of, you Singed support, it's amazing. One great game of Singed. And then after that, it just went... And I'm not planning on using for a while anyway. But
well,
yeah.
Singed is usually played on top as a solo top laner instead of a support because of his poisons. And the way he just is built, and you usually go with Rod of Ages first, and you start with Flask or Elixir old.
You know too much. You really know too much.
Crystalline Flask. You go
That's
with
the one,
Crystalline Flask and some potions, and I don't think you can put in a ward, but you go with that just to keep your mana and health up, and you run Ghost Flash. Or Ghost Ignite, or even Ghost Teleport, depending on what your preferences are. And you just run circles around people, you wait till level 2 when you get your flip, so you can walk into the enemy minions and get to the enemy champion, flip him into your minions, pull your poison up while you're doing it, and you just run circles and just try to keep him in your minions as long as possible without damaging yourself too much.
But you've heard this here first, people. Tempe is quite knowledgeable with everything due to her casting and playing, and we're learning stuff as we're going along with Tempe. She's very knowledgeable, and I'm going to be writing that down actually for future games. So yes, we're going to be wrapping up the podcast very shortly because it's getting late and Tempe is very sleepy. So yeah, we've covered the news, major thing with Eurogame, we've covered the World Championship, we've had a bit of fun as well. Before we tie everything off, just get a couple of quick shout outs in. We'll throw this over to Dean first. Have you got anyone that you want to say hi to, anyone that you've got a big mention for, or you just want to say hi to anybody? Just give a shout out to somebody.
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to the content writers that we've got on the website. They've been doing some excellent work. I don't know if anyone's read any of the reviews that they've been writing, but they're a massive addition to the team, and they've been putting some excellent content out there. So we've got Adrian Heath, we've got Dylan Rimmer, and we've got Jason Taylor, Gone Games, and they've been doing some excellent work for us.
Definitely. Gone Games been doing a lot of work for us on the YouTube channel with Let's Plays. Recently we've been starting the Let's Plays up. Me, Dean and Gone Games have been doing different things. Dean's got Wing Commander at the moment and he's still working on that. I've got so much on the YouTube channel that's not been listed yet of Let's Plays, so some really cool treats for you as well. And Gone Games have been doing a lot of the old school Let's Plays, a bit of Alex Kidd, Miracle World, and I know he's listed a couple of the games coming up, and I'm like, wow, what a game! I missed that game, so that's awesome. Any other shout outs, Steve?
Well, you've already sort of mentioned them, but all the role play guys that we've spent time with in Eurogames, so Nick and Charlie.
Yes, definitely.
Really good friends of ours.
They deserve all the love from this podcast, so big shout out to you guys. Have been awesome, and great friends. We love you to pieces in that manly love way, definitely. So, anything else, Dean?
No, I think that pretty much covers all mine.
Okay, before we wrap up, Dean, what is your plan for this upcoming week? Will you be playing anything? Will you be tinkering with the website now that it's fully completed? I know you can still tinker a bit, but it's perfect. So, any games you play, any games planned to be played, and what are just gaming plans for the next week?
For the next week, mainly I'm going to finish the story off on GTA 5.
Anything else after that?
And more League, basically. We're focusing a lot on League now. We're starting to play a lot. Rich is getting very near the level 30 mark, so we need to catch him up a bit.
Yeah,
so we can form a ranked team. we do need a fifth, though.
Yes, actually.
Put that out there.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us that are playing regular within the Game for Life team, and we could do with a fifth. So if there is anyone out there who is a fan of the page and or watches the videos or listens to the podcast, and they're interested in joining us in a team, then
But I will also
Please feel free to contact the guys. I know they will enjoy having you around, and yeah, you might have fun with them. Davey, your plans for the week?
Also, just to add on to that as well, we always have people dropping in and out. Tempe plays a few games with us as well, but feel free to add DJ and AVP as a summoner or on the page. Just drop us a message and we will more than happy to try to get you in, even if it's just for a few games. If you like how we play, we're doing it for fun, but we are looking into the rank side of things. Now, for my week coming up, I'm always video editing, so I'll be doing a lot of video editing. I'll be uploading a load of work. I'll be playing League of Legends, I'll be playing GTA Online, I'll be playing FIFA, I'll be playing every single game that we showcase on the channel as well. So I play a wide range of games.
Busy week then.
It's always busy for me, it's always busy. So yeah, all that, and plus with real life as well. So I've got a fair mixture. Tempe, what are you doing this week?
Rendering. I will be rendering. I will try to squeeze in a game of League of Legends. I have some shoutcasting dates set up for tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and on Friday. So my next 3 days are booked with practicing, especially my play-by-play. So after that I am rendering and will not be able to play much or at all until I get my new PC. And on Saturday and Sunday I am working again for EGL as a shoutcaster, and that should be that for my week.
Just to also say as well, not to try and big it up as much, but if you are interested in shoutcasting like I were, and I joined up with the guys like Tempe and all the guys that are now part of the EGL PC division, if you are interested in trying out shoutcasting, feel free to let us know on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and all that, and we will link you up with the guys at EGL and try some practice games with you and see how good you are, and maybe get you on the big streams where, Christ, the EGL streams get about 300. Me and you were in front of 250 people at one point, weren't we? One of these
150 people.
It was a big thing. So feel free to, if you are interested, check it out as well. Tempe, any shout outs before we wrap up?
Well, shoutouts to Sona, my co-caster for the last week's tournament. It was brilliant. He definitely knows how to roll with my puns, and he is definitely giving me the freedom to do them whenever I feel the need or whenever I feel them being appropriate. So that is really fun to do. To Dan, as always, and of course to my friends Raven from the ranked team Raven World's Chosen, because they have become really supportive. Recently, this weekend, they were more watching my stream and me casting than they were playing League of Legends. Even though they were in the game, they were still actually being more AFK, which is bad. Don't get me wrong, that's bad, but at the same time it makes me happy to have my friends being more actively watching me and supportive of me. So, yay. Love you guys.
That's pretty cool. Any other shout outs? Or are you happy?
That's that, unless you want to shout out something or at someone.
Obviously I do, Mr. DJ AVP over here. Yes, I just want to wrap up the shout out section. I just want to give a big shout out to everyone that we met at Eurogamer, all the new likes, everyone that's commented on the cosplay stuff. There's so many people out there that we met. Big shout out to you all. You know, it were fantastic. I would like to do a quick shout out to, like I said, the guys at the EGL PC. They've put up with me a lot. I haven't been casting as much recently, but the guys have been so nice, and I'm still in the loop with them all. So big shout out to you guys, and hopefully we'll get the head of EGL PC probably on our next podcast. That'll be quite interesting to link him up. He did say he was really interested, and maybe in the future a couple of the shoutcasters as well from the EGL, and a couple of pages. I just want to quick mention the Girl Gamer. Big shout out to you. She's been at the New York Comic Con. She's been amazing. Did a couple of shout outs for us. Got us a few likes. The original sexy nerdy girl, and just all you fans out there. A massive shout out to all you guys out there. If it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this podcast. We wouldn't be just having fun and doing what we do. So yeah, Any last words, any last thoughts before we wrap up, guys, girls?
No, not really. I hope you guys, as always, enjoyed the podcast. It has been also another long one, considering how much stuff we had to cover. Dean, I hope you had fun with us.
I certainly did.
So yes, Dean was our very first guest on the podcast. We'll probably feature a lot more of the community guys, and like I said before, we're trying to branch out with YouTubers, shoutcasters, and big names in pages and esports and stuff. So thanks, Dean, for dropping by and being our very first guest, and thank you, Tempe, for being an amazing co-host, covering everything that I can't cover because I just can't do everything myself. I wish I could. But
as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe, comment, rate, and share. You already know the hotspots where you can find us, which is Facebook, Twitter, and our new website. And again, people, we do want your questions. This was the second podcast. We still hadn't had any of your questions. So please, for the next one, we will give you a significant amount of time. Drop them.
Yes, we didn't prep this up as well as we thought, so my apologies. But yes, we will be back in November. I can't state when, but we will let you know close by. We'll be back in November for probably a major release of the new gen, next gen, what do you want to call it, big game releases like Call of Duty and stuff, and more from the new Season 4 should have started by then, shouldn't it? Season 4, mid-November-ish for League of Legends?
Yeah, it should be, like I said, on the 31st of October, the season 3 officially ends, which will probably kick off pre-season 4 within the first week, if not the first week, the second week, and we will be seeing some major changes happening in League of Legends, mostly to the masteries again. So if you haven't done it already, don't. If you're planning on changing your runes and masteries a bit, just leave them as they are. Tinker a bit, but don't set anything in stone. Changes are happening. There will be also a release of a new map called Magma Chamber, which was previewed on the All-Stars of LCS tournament, as well as what else? There was something else. Some summoner spell changes, and yeah, the reset of your ELOs, your ranked league points. So you will be. That would be resetted as well. You can play ranked in preseason, which is good because you get the points and everything. You have everything sorted already for the official season. So lots of things happening, lots of changes. It's gonna be brilliant, and yeah, the preseason usually lasts for a month and a half, maybe 2 months, depending on how big the changes they need and how much stuff they need to reset. So your masteries will probably be reset, so you are free to change everything up then, which is nice. Oh, and also, since the end of the World Championship on the 5th of October, the end of season madness has begun. If you have noticed, if you're playing League of Legends, you probably have noticed people playing more different builds, testing builds, doing builds that are not very oftenly seen or are very good or predictable to imagine being played on a certain champions being played in certain roles, or just some of the old champions that fell out of favor are now returning. So don't be alarmed if you see a full AP team or a full AD team, but done properly with a tank and everything else. It's just the end of season madness. Embrace it. It's not trolling, it's just people letting out steam because it is nearing the end of the season. And I've been through 2 of this is my 3rd end of season madness, and I'm enjoying every second of it because you'll only see it at the end of the season.
Nice. So yeah, like I says, the next podcast will probably showcase next gen, pre-season tweaks and what twerks. It's getting late. Pre-season tweaks to the whole cool stuff that Tempe will cover, and hopefully we will have another guest on there as well. So thank you all for taking part, listening, whatever you want to call it. Comment, like, and subscribe. Say goodbye, Deano.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Tempe.
Bye, Tempe.
Bye. And this is goodbye from me as well. Thank you for listening to the second ever Dark Passageway podcast, and we will see you very, very soon. Bye bye.